Well, thank you for asking. I'm just a firm believer that you can have a lot of knowledge, but if you cannot transfer that knowledge in a thoughtful, communicative, and interesting way, then that knowledge won't be learned and it won't be retained. So you're right. I'm very passionate about the engagement and the attention side of students and really working to keep that at an optimal level so students so it's enjoyable to learn. When you enjoy something, you tend to stay with it more, you tend to be more excited about it and retain it. So that whole motivation and inspiration and attention is very important in the learning cycle. Well, one thing that in a resource that you referenced, Marcel, the highly engaged teacher, or the highly engaged classroom, actually, there are 4 questions we say that teachers should always ask themselves, and students are always asking themselves. And those questions that students are often asking while they are being taught would be the number one, how do I feel in this environment? Is this environment a safe place for me to learn, to take risks, to ask questions without feeling and put down or in any way that I'm not valued? So how do I feel is always a really important question that teachers need to think about students asking themselves. Another one is really, am I interested? Is there a way for me to really pique my interest? Do you know me as a learner so you can connect what I know to what you're teaching? And that's that connectivity piece that I think teachers have to be mindful of.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are 2 more. Do you want the others as well or not yet?
Yeah.
The third question, I think this one is more and more relevant with students today. And that is, students are always asking in their head, is what I'm learning important to remember? And we can all think of, things we've learned along the way that maybe we've never used. And so for students and for teachers to always think about what is so important for them, or where will I use this in real life? Can you show me someone in the profession that uses this, for example? And so that helps me see that, oh, this is really worth my time and energy in learning. But I truly do believe, Marcel, the last question is probably the most important one. And that is, a student is always asking, can I do this? And it's one of, I truly believe, the most important questions. And here's why. If a student answers, I don't think I can do this, even early on in the learning environment, then they are less apt to take a risk. They are less apt to engage themselves in deeper study because they don't feel they're going to be successful. So those 4 questions, the how do I feel, am I interested, is this important, and can I do this? If teachers would always keep those in the back of their minds while they're teaching students, I think that would be very helpful for engagement. What I think I noticed, so this is, my perception in working with a lot of different schools, and that is where there's lots of application of what they're learning. So there'd be 2 parts to that, Marcel. One would be focusing and lessening the sheer number of learning targets that students have to learn. So in other words, if I am feeling like I've got to rush through content, then I'm not going to be as engaging with the content as if I have fewer key things that students have to learn. So the first thing we say is narrow down what it is you're doing. And then secondly, provide lots of practice and lots of experiences. So those schools where I see engagement at an optimal level, those are the schools where secondary students are connected with workforce mentors, and they're actually applying what they've learned in the real world. It might be an expeditionary kind of school where students learn about the content and then they They go out into nature for a week and they do expeditionary types of learning where they apply all of what they've learned. So it's those kinds of experiences. If we can slow down the sheer amount of content and then go deeper into how students learn and process and see that content, that's where I see engagement at its highest.